Hey guys, welcome back. So how does the Kyle Schwarber signing with the Nationals affect the Yankees, and does it affect the Yankees in any way? By the way, welcome to the new backdrop. Hope you like it. This is the old Yankee Stadium, the original, before it was torn down in 2000 at the end of the 2008 season. It's one of my favorite places in the whole world. I'm a former season ticket holder, and this is just, I love this place, and love the new stadium, but it's not as loud and as crazy as the old one. So, and I'll never forget this place. So, anyway, how does the Kyle Schwarber signing affect the Yankees? There's been a lot of talk about him and Lindor and some other players, and how Schwarber will be a good fit and his left-handed bat, be hitting bombs and out of right field and all that stuff. And I get that, I do. But here's the way I look at it too. Okay, firstly, the Yankees would have had to make a few moves. And by the way, just so you know, he signed with the Washington Nationals for a one-year deal, $7 million guaranteed, with a option for $11 million for 2022, or a $3 million buyout. So he's getting $10 million guaranteed from the Nationals. So not an exorbitant price, but maybe he'll find his stroke there and kind of regain it and do a lot over there with Washington. And they brought him and Josh Bell. So I'm kind of curious as how they're going to do it. He's going to play the outfield, I suppose, and Josh Bell will play first base, but they just brought in a bunch of left-handed power over there for a pretty reasonable price. But in my view, the way that the Yankees, the only way I would have seen them bringing in a Kyle Schwarber is if they would have done two things. Number one, let DJ walk, which would move Gleyber Torres over to second. And then the Yankees would have either brought in somebody like Andrelton Simmons, which they still can do, or trade for a shortstop like Trevor Story. Francisco Lindor, to me, was the prime guy to get because his intangibles. He is also a switch hitter, and he does a lot from the left-handed side, while all the other superstar shortstops next year are all right-handed hitters. So he had that advantage. Plus, I think he was the youngest of the batch as well. But that being said, he's over with the Mets now, so there's nothing we can do about that. And congratulations to the Mets. But again, so the only way I would have brought in Schwarber is if the Yankees would have let DJ walk, which they might do, move Torres to second and bring in a shortstop, and then trade Luke Voit, for some kind of pitching package, like for a Luis Castillo or a Corbin Burns or Josh Hader type package. And I would not trade him for any reliever. It would be a starter and a reliever, or a starter or Kyle Hendricks, something like that. But they've got Rizzo. But even though Rizzo has 1 year left and Voit has, I think, 4 years of control left, so he would be a good fit over in the Chicago Cubs, because they're looking to cut salary, and he's on a low salary for the next 4 years, so he would accomplish that goal and rejuvenate some of the power that they've lost with Schwarber and some of these other guys, or they may lose with Bryant and Baez and the rest of them. So, but that's the only way I would honestly move Luke Voit. So, and that remains to be seen. But Kyle Schwarber is no longer a target. Neither is Francisco Lindor. So how does it kind of affect, I see it kind of affecting the infield and outfield. Number one, the Yankees have made, even though they've lost their two big targets, they've made a couple of incremental moves. Number one, they brought in Ulysses Chacin. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's a starting pitcher, so he will give them pitching depth, maybe on the back end or up in the minor league system, but my guess is he's probably going to see the majors. He actually won 15 games with the Milwaukee Brewers in 2018, and he has shown the ability to throw some innings, and the Yankees are in desperate need of innings eaters, behind Garrett Cole. So, good depth move. It didn't even cost $1 million. He got $800,000 guaranteed. So, low risk move, and if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. And I still think they need to bring in two more starters beyond Chacin, either via free agency and trade, or trade and whatnot. So it remains to be seen what they're going to do. So, but another move they did was they brought in Greg Allen in a trade from with San Diego. Greg Allen is a 28-year-old speedy outfielder who hits from the both sides. So we get another switch hitter, and he plays all three outfield positions. So he's an upgrade over what we currently have like Mike Tauchman. Even though I like Mike Tauchman, this guy's an upgrade because he's got more versatility. He's also faster, and he's just pretty solid hitter. But the ability to kind of play all the outfield positions and back them up, because Tauchman hasn't yet. And this kind of goes for most of the backups on the Yankees. There's a huge gap between their starters and their backup players. And when those starters go down, and they always go down every year, the backups haven't been able to kind of capably come in and play on a regular basis without either getting hurt themselves or them not having enough depth beyond that backup. So there's a huge gap, and we need to close that gap. So I think Greg Allen helps accomplish that goal. Plus, I think he signals the end of the Brett Gardner era. We'll miss Brett Gardner, but this guy at this point, with he's 8 years younger than Gardner, or maybe 9 years younger, at a fraction of the price. And I also think he opens up the possibility to move Aaron Hicks in a trade for a starter or whatnot. And this, I might get mixed reactions here, but the way I look at it too is Hicks. So his contract has 5 years left at about $10 million per, and with a 6th-year option. So for teams that are looking at either Marcell Ozuna or George Springer, well, think about it this way. George Springer's, he's going to get paid, but would you rather pay 6 years, $150 million for Springer, or 6 years, $60 million for Aaron Hicks? They're both the same age. They're 31 years old. Hicks is a switch hitter, elite defensively as well. And yes, Springer's been a monster clutch hitter in the playoffs, but Hicks has actually done pretty decent in the playoffs too. You have an option here that will cost you $90 million less, almost $100 million less. Even though the rumor is he's looking for $200 million, but you have somebody you can get here for less than half the price. So, which frees up money for you to get other players as well. So you can spread out that $150 million that you were going to spend, or whatever it was, and get 2 or 3 guys instead of 1. That's the way I look at it too. And so it gives our outfielders that. Plus, it gives the Yankees an opportunity to either keep Frazier at left. You let this kid play in center, Allen, Judge in right. Okay, and you bring in another capable person to back them up. Either whether it's an Esteban Florial, let one of your kids play, or you bring in like a Jurickson Profar, somebody like that, somebody who can actually capably back up the outfielders. Okay, that can play, because in my opinion too, you got to give these guys regular rest. Okay, otherwise they're going to get hurt. Even if they're on a hot streak, it doesn't matter. If they get 1 day rest, it's not going to knock them off their hot streak. Okay, the fact is the Yankees have done this, I think, way too many times. That they've ridden guys, and then they get hurt, and then they're gone for like 6 weeks. So we need more capable backups. Okay, so I think Allen represents an upgrade right now, at least with regards to our backups, and it gives us flexibility to move Hicks for a nice return, I think, in my opinion. I like Hicks, but this gives the Yankees flexibility, and plus that $10 million can go towards another relief pitcher or a starting pitcher or something like that, which they need more than an outfielder. Okay? With regards to the infield, because Schwarber could have played, first base or outfield, this to me is a perfect opportunity. And again, whether it remains to be seen whether they sign DJ or not, the Yankees have about $35 million in payroll room before hitting the $210 million luxury tax. DJ's probably going to cost at least $20, so, but that at least still leaves them $15 million and they have needs, so which is why I proposed a couple of trades to offset some salary to address these needs. And then they're bringing in small little pieces, Socrates, Brito, and stuff like that, but I don't know anything about the guy. They're just getting depth pieces beyond that, but in infield, this is a perfect. Tommy La Stella could not be more perfect for the Yankees. And the same thing applies to the infield as it do the outfield. Those guys need regular rest too, whether it's Voit at first, or DJ at second, or Torres at second, whoever they have at shortstop, Gio at third. Gio's coming back from elbow surgery, so we don't want to rush him back either. La Stella can play most of the infield positions, okay? And he hasn't played more than 120 games in a season, ever, in his majors. Usually averages 70 to 80. He has an opportunity to play 100 on a regular with the Yankees, and he would not break the bank. I think he's a switch hitter, but he's got good lefty contact hitting credentials, and he's also been known to be clutch as well. He gives the Yankees versatility, and he represents an upgrade over Tyler Wade and Thiago Estrada. Okay, and we still don't know what they're going to do with Miguel Andujar, but my feeling is they're probably going to package him in a trade for a starting pitcher. totally fine. I heard he's revamped his swing this offseason too. Great. If he stays with the Yankees, great too. But Listella could not be more perfect. Be another guy like, Cesar Hernandez who represent an upgrade, but I think Listella has more tools than Cesar Hernandez. And in terms of a backup outfielder, Eddie Rosario to me is probably the best option too. 29-year-old from the Minnesota Twins, formerly of the Twins. I think he represents. So if they're playing Allen in center field, you bring in a Rosario, he can play a couple of positions too. Give those guys a break as well. He to me represents an upgrade over Mike Tauchman too. And a lot of teams have shown interest in Tauchman, so this opens up an opportunity for the Yankees to move Tauchman maybe for a reliever or something like that, which they desperately need. So, it kind of has indirect effects and direct effects with me with regards to the Kyle Schwarber trade. I think it just revealed that the Yankees actually did not. He would have been a superfluous piece, a luxury piece, another high strikeout guy at the expense of other pieces of flexibility. So, would have been nice had they gotten him. Sure, I could see him hitting a bunch of bombs over here into right field, but I would be totally happy if they brought in like a Tommy Listella and an Eddie Rosario. And that would give them monumental improvement, monumental upgrades, contact hitting, lessen our reliance on the home run, and open up flexibility to move guys like Hicks, to move other guys like an Andujar, which he has 4 years of team control too at a low cost. So he has value as well for a team that needs pop in their bat. And maybe you get a pitching prospect back for him or something. So that's my kind of view on that. Obviously, the Yankees need to address relief pitching. I would be all over Brad Hand right now, all over Archie Bradley or Liam Hendricks, particularly if they're able to move like a Hicks or a Chapman in a trade and really free up some money. I would personally bring in a righty and a lefty reliever. That's just me, though. And, because especially particularly if we don't have more starters that go length like Garrett Cole, which will lessen the load on the bullpen, which to me is very, very important. We can't have guys. That's why, I'm not a fan. I like Tanaka, but I'm not a fan of bringing him back because he's at the point now where he can't throw 5 innings consistently. And 5 innings should be a bare minimum for a starter now. One day he'll go 6 innings, pitch great. The next one, he'll go 2 innings in the bullpen and get shellacked, and then the pen has to come in and throw 7 innings, which tires him out, particularly in a doubleheader and things like that. And now I think there's going to be no more 7-inning doubleheaders, so that makes it a little bit more challenging. And I think I read that right. But so in terms of starting pitching, Corey Kluber is going to be doing a showcase in a couple days. Hopefully he establishes health. If he does, I would take a flyer on him. You can probably get him for a 2-year deal at a reasonable price. Okay, and then you look to try to trade for a Hendricks and help Chicago offload some payroll. It's going to cost that pretty penny, but he's worth it. So is Luis Castillo. Those are the top 2 guys. And if you can't, then you look to try to Marco Gonzalez or a Joe Musgrove. And I've mentioned these guys in a lot of videos. They offer value, but the bottom line is we need depth on the pitching end. Okay, particularly starters, because they always go down every year. 1, 2, 3 of them, particularly for the Yankees for some reason. We always have a hornet's nest of injuries, particularly in our starting pitching. So they need depth. So that's my point of view there. On my next video, I'm going to talk about a player that nobody's really talking about that could have potential tremendous value because he's on a team right now. He's becoming a superstar, and he's on a team that's not going to be able to afford him. He's got 3 years of control left, and it's kind of a regular thing that players become superstars. They get expensive, and then they trade him away, and it kind of recycles the process over there. So he could be a perfect fit on a lot of teams over some of these other guys that everybody's talking about. So if hit that subscribe button and hit that notification if you want to get some insight on that, and it's really helpful to the channel as well. It helps a lot of people know the channel exists, so I appreciate your support either way. And the video after that, I'm bringing out Buddy the whiteboard. Okay, I've gotten a lot of requests to bring out the whiteboard again, so I'll bring him out for a video, and I'm going to give my updated MLB free agent predictions. So you're not going to want to miss that one either. Those are the next 2 videos. So let's have some fun. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you next time.